It had been another fine meal until this matter of the dog. Something seasonal cooked in extra virgin olive oil, a complimentary wine, around us artwork steeped in personal history. No decorator would have paired my father's sinuous paintings of the British Columbia coast with the prancing lizard carved from a single piece of wood, a souvenir of the Dominican Republic. We never knew the name of the Dominican carver, but his lizard and the Douglas firs looked equally at home in the eclectic domain we'd assembled piece by piece and had entirely to ourselves. When our last cat was alive, ginger fur collected in corners and clung to our pants. A dog would disarrange the order we'd finally achieved. There'd be fur all over everything again. Remember when we had to brush ourselves down before we went anywhere? Those were the days of boardrooms and black tie galas. I edited Chatelaine, a prominent women's magazine. Paul published news and business magazines for the same parent company. When the Queen came to Toronto, we were summoned to a dinner in her honor at the Royal York Hotel, along with some 700 other local worthies. Anywhere we went now, we could go with fur on our backsides. Paul said, "We'll get a non-shedding breed." So much for disqualifying problem number 1. Number 2 would be closer to his heart. How are we supposed to travel? Could we have brought a dog to London or Paris? We'd have to leave the dog in a kennel. Think of the expense, the inconvenience. We'll work it out. Take more road trips. Use your imagination. One of us had to be practical. Dogs need to walk. A lot. Enter disqualifying problem number 3. Paul's knees had recently been so bad that he couldn't walk 2 blocks to the bank without pausing on a bench to rest. He no longer needed his cane, but often spent the better part of a day at his desk, breaking only to make a tuna melt or throw in a load of laundry. An oldster's lifestyle. Yet Paul was barely 63, too young to qualify for a senior's transit pass. I could already hear myself asking through gritted teeth, "Dear, when are you planning to walk the dog?" before eventually taking the dog out myself, seething with resentment. We'd been down that road as newlyweds, arguing about who'd wash the scrambled egg pan. Damned if I was going back to that for a dog. I laid it on the line. "Are you sure you're up for all that walking?" Meaning, I'm sure you're not. He was. After canvassing friends with dogs, he knew the walking regimens of Scooter, Murphy, and Charlie. Any dog of ours would match them all. Absolutely, Paul would hold up his end. I wouldn't have to do a minute more than my share. One thing about my husband, he's a man of his word. It'll be fun. You'll see. Fun wasn't on my must-have list. I liked quiet, and we had plenty, pierced only by the whir of the espresso machine and the vibration of the fridge. The morning rustle of the Globe and Mail had gone silent when we switched to online news. And one day now unfolded much like any other, no calls from the school or crises at the office to disturb our peace. In fact, hardly anyone called us now except scammers in the dentist's office. A neighbor's door slammed shut. Paul was still waiting for his answer. I couldn't bring myself to say yes to the dog, but no was out of the question. He'd forgive me. That wasn't the issue. Rona will be Rona, he'd think, as I had often thought. Paul will be Paul. Whatever else we'd done and failed to do in more than 40 years of marriage, we both gave each other room to be ourselves. I chose a man who loved dogs. Always had,